Hello, Randa. So, Randa, you ask, how do you release bodily sensations to the space? Randa, bodily sensations are already in the space. They're already naturally, effortlessly released in the space. But what we do is we have preferences. We prefer to feel in a certain way. So we pursue or we attach ourselves to a certain memory of a certain sensation, a certain feeling, and we resist certain sensations. So when we cease resisting or pursuing, and when there is an absence of pursuing certain sensations or resisting certain sensations, there is just a peace, just whatever is arising, let's say, is not disturbing. A disturbance means resistance or pursuit. We want something. We have some idea about how things should be, about how our life should be, about how others should behave towards us, about how life should treat us. It is those ideas that are in the way of the sensations being released in the space. So your question is, how do we release sensation in the space? We, first of all, we notice our arguments, how we are arguing with how things are. In daily life, we notice our personal preferences. Our struggles with things, with the body, with the mind, with events, with others. And we question whether that is a sound, intelligent way to live. If your questioning is correct, you will come to the understanding that argumentation is not the path. It delivers nothing that you really desire. It's difficult to do when we are feeling in our body the emotions. So there are exercises where you turn your attention to your body, to the sensations. And you can notice that the sensations, you may notice that the sensations are neutral, they're inoffensive. Is that an English word? They're not offensive. They are neutral. They are images and sounds, that you can watch them from a place that is not threatened. So you need to develop this skill of watching whatever is unfolding from your complete absence. From your complete neutrality. You will find out that there is no harm that is occurring to you. That is a great discovery that allows you to trust and relax in this neutral presence. You need to become a neutral friend of the sensations that arise in your body. A friendly host that is not that does not have a personal agenda. So that is possible it's possible to approach all sensations, all perceptions, all events that way. You have to experiment with that. We usually approach whatever arises with what is it giving, what is it providing to me, or what is it taking away from me? It's a really very crazy way of living. Constantly struggling with that. Is whatever is occurring coming to rob me or coming to enrich me? So we're always in the negotiating table. Exhausting, it's very exhausting. So the way to be with the sensations is to be as a neutral witness. Quiet, still witness. Your true nature is stillness. You don't need to practice it, just it's there. Rather than turning your attention to all the conditioned thoughts that have all these judgments of others and of yourself. Remain still. These judgments, these thoughts, where are they? Where are they? What are they? They're like mist. They have no actuality to themselves. Where is the thought that you had 5 minutes ago? It's nowhere to be found. But awareness is ever present. Beingness is ever present. And that, there's no danger to that. So Rhonda, you're right, the sensations are intense and sometimes they wake me up from sleep. Those sensations are labeled by a thought as unpleasant. Well, yes, if they wake you up from sleep, they are unpleasant. They wake you up from sleep because there is some personal threat that is occurring at the impression of a personal threat. Something is happening to me, oh my God, or to what I cherish, to my friends, to my family, to my money, to my house. Something is happening to me. There's a personal impression in the dream. Even in our dream state, our night dreams, there is a me. The me that we experienced in the waking state continues in our night dreams. And it's always intense when some things are occurring with a me impression that it's happening to me. It's taking something away from me, it's threatening me, it may kill me. It's unpleasant. Let it kill you. What you truly are cannot be killed. You need to contemplate, what am I truly? Whatever it is that is being threatened in your night dreams or in your emotions is not real. You are not Rhonda. You are not a person. You are not a woman. What you are is beyond the mind, beyond words, beyond what is known. You are the knowingness of this very perception right now. You are not the perception. You are that perceives. And that perceives is not a sensation. A sensation is perceived. That perceives is not a form. It's not male or female. It has no phenomenal qualities. You are that has no phenomenal qualities. The reality of presence, of consciousness, of beingness. That is untouched by the world events, by bodily sensations. But when you are still imagining yourself to be a character, then the impression that things are happening to you haunt you, and you feel that. You feel that unhappiness. You feel that threat. So if you can, with every exhalation, exhale all the past. Where is the exhalation gone? It's nowhere to be found. Then a new inhalation is naturally called upon. And with the exhalation, let go of all the past, everything that you know about yourself, the stories about you, your memories, what happened to you yesterday, your thoughts about tomorrow. Allow them to exhale. Exhale them through your belly. So with the exhalation, You exhale all the past and you come to complete emptiness. You inhale freshness and you exhale all the old. You said there is no story attached to the sensations. If there is no story attached to the sensation, that's very good. Because in the absence of a story, there is no rundown. There is no person, because all stories are about a person. If there is no person, there is just sensation. There is peace. And if there is a personal story, exhale the story. Allow it to dissolve in the space. Do not hold on to the story, because the story piles up. They pile up on each other. And then there is a landslide, and it's a real mess. You follow? Okay. Hello, Ananda. Ananda, you're right. I've been sitting in meditation, so to speak. The me idea fades and is wispy. What is wispy?
Like the clouds that are disappearing.
Oh, okay. The me idea fades and is wispy. Should it disappear altogether? Well, yes. Oh, Gary's here. Yes, you can give it to him. Thank you. So when we speak of the me idea, we are speaking about also feeling as a me.
Yes.
Feeling as a person. What does this me feeling, when we say me feeling, what do we mean by that?
It's just a it's like a visitor who's still in the room. He hasn't actually left yet.
Mm-hmm. Well, if it's a welcome visitor, we have a cat or a dog or a good friend.
I remember a couple of remarkably clear experiences, moments where there was even if I turned my, whatever I say but even if the mind turned towards, let's just check this out. Is there someone here, or who? What am I? Whatever. It was just clear. There's no impression. That word impression, me impression, fits here perfectly because it's not a strong impression, but it's still an impression.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see how it's both mental, it's both ideational, and it's almost hard to distinguish between the two.
Mm-hmm. Well, The me impression, or any impression that arises to what?
Mm-hmm.
So that to which this perception arises is not affected by the perception.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really, if it's a rainy perception or a snowy perception or a sunshine,
Mm-hmm.
at some level it's all neutral.
Mm-hmm.
At another level, well, if it's rainy, I'm going to get the umbrella if I'm going to go out. If it's snowy, I'm going to put on a good coat, warm coat.
Yes.
But we're talking about that. We're not talking about the body,
Mm-hmm.
because the body is being managed by that. In other words, something perceives the sensation of cold.
Yes.
That, what we refer to as that, perceives the sensation. So, ooh, cold. And so that reaches for a warm coat and puts on a coat.
Mm-hmm.
But that is perceiving the body experiencing cold.
Mm-hmm.
That does not experience cold. The witnessing of the cold sensation is not cold.
Yeah.
You follow?
Yeah.
But so all perceptions, all sensations arise to what we refer to as I, the self.
Yes.
Awareness. Awareness isn't trying to fix the images.
Mm.
It isn't trying to fix the body, isn't trying to fix anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because these perceptions and these sensations are not separate from awareness itself. Their awareness is dream, the substance of what you perceive. The substance of what you perceive is your very perception. It's I, that which is not a substance.
Mm-hmm.
This is the intimacy of being. Everything that you perceive, you're perceiving your own intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing to repair, to correct, to fix, to improve. Mm-hmm. But when you are perceiving an impression that you want to repair or to fix, you say, oh, gee, there's still a me left in the space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then at that moment, you have chosen to make a distinction. Meaning, you forgot yourself at that moment to be the perfection of being. And you are, for that moment, perceiving yourself as in need of a bit of improvement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes. What is it
Mm-hmm.
that needs improvement? What is it that you take yourself to be that needs to be improved, that needs to be bettered, that needs to be more on point?
Mm-hmm.
There has to be some ideation.
Mm-hmm.
And ideation is history.
Mm-hmm.
It's a conditioned ideation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the purity of being. It's not the crystalline purity of being.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That has no issues with world, body, mind events.
Mm-hmm.
And that recognizes all world, body, mind events as its dream. It recognizes itself as the wholeness of being.
Yes.
So that does not look for, is there still a trace of I or not a trace of I? Should all traces of I disappear?
I see that because that now I see the way you described it. I see that the issue here is not the wispy familiar impression or something. It's the identifying with it, and then from there reacting against it.
Yes.
It's
Yes. Yes.
It's still giving importance to it. Yeah.
Yes. So when you recognize a certain wispiness, it's a good opportunity for you to go to your wholeness, because you're not interested in being in the wispiness repair business. That's not fun. Right?
Right.
So you can say, oh, interesting, wispiness. I am. What am I truly? I am that. I am that. That formless, aware presence, the reality of being.
Now, here's an idea that came up to me I wanted to share, is that I got the idea that there's a certain grounding, that a little bit of a tie to the body-mind identity, that it's almost a necessary grounding in order to be functional, etc. And I just caught myself with that assumption.
Well, don't worry about that grounding, because that's at the molecular level. The field is already established with its positrons and electrons and neutrons and gravitational, ways of attraction and repulsion and order and disorder and
I see.
So that's already established.
I see. That's a good point.
And so our understanding of our study of the world, body, mind takes us to more and more and more and more complexity, let's say. Because the way we study the world, body, mind is in relationship of various parts. So we have a conceptual field in which we distinguish between various similarities, so certain elements, certain characteristics that are labeled, and we study their relationships with elements and phenomena with slightly different characteristics, and then we study their relationships. This is the study of the world, body, mind. The more we look into the characteristics of phenomena, of what is perceived, the more we find more and more variations in the characteristics, more and more additional ways in which the field appears and manifests itself. It's very fascinating. It's like we're constantly discovering more and more elements, more and more. Closer we look, we keep finding, and we haven't even scratched the surface, because we haven't even looked at 1/1,000,000th of a millionth of our galaxy. Imagine that we are right now, we've already landed on 700 different moons and planets, and that we're studying more and more of these.
And
you can imagine.
From each outpost, you have another 700 to study.
And then that's just one galaxy among zillions of galaxies. So what I'm trying to say is that it's a fascinating hobby. It's a very, science is a beautiful hobby. And it's full of passion and excitement and discovery and wonder and amazement. But it's like studying your dreams. If you study your dreams, it's unending. I mean, There's always new dreams and new forms, new sensations, and new feelings, and new images, and it's infinite. It's infinite. It's so vast. But to attempt or to believe that the discovery of order, of the reality of the universe, is through studying the elemental qualities of the manifest world, that I think is good luck with that, because you will never be done. You have to actually go to the source. Right. You have to come to the revelation of the true dreamer of all dreams, the reality of all what we refer to as manifestation. Because the more we study the manifest world, the more we are discovering that it is not out there, that it's less and less out there than we thought. It's actually more intimate than we thought, that the observer is actually a very important intimate part of the entire study. Anyways, I'm not sure where I'm going with that. I think I
have an analogy. I was seeing an analogy here, which is when to put interest in the phenomenology of the ego way of thinking and concerns and everything, and try to work it out there.
Yes,
is equally hopeless.
Absolutely. This is actually what I was pointing to. Correct. Yes. Okay.
I wanted to say I had this. Lucid dreaming is a kind of a fun thing. A lot of us are becoming more aware of that aspect. I had this one little vignette of a lucid dream that was perfect, so clear. I was just dozing in a nap, and then I was driving the car, and a skunk was in the road, and I was able to clearly put the wheels on both sides, not hurt the skunk. Mm-hmm. At the same time that the dream was clearly happening with all of its effects, I was aware that this is a dream, and isn't it interesting? I've never actually come upon a skunk on the road before. So I had my real life commentary, and the complete reality seeming of the dream happening simultaneously. Anyway, so
I'm glad you did not drive over the skunk. Yes, I'm glad you did not hit the skunk.
And then the next day there were skunks all over the road because we've had a lot of rain.
I see.
They're traveling.
Yes, I heard about the the rain.
Well, it's good. It's good. We're not gonna have to abandon California for a while now. It's been rehydrated.
Okay. That's nice. That's nice to hear.
Thank you. Oh, there's a big question. All right.
Yes. Okay, Lawrence. Let me see. Let me scroll up. Okay. Okay, Lawrence. You're right. I have been in discussion regarding the nature of the male-female relationship in regards to clicking into that which is. Basically, until you learn to die and become as one and love that one, just about any relationship will always be fault because both parties lack a wholeness, which results in each partner being a reflection of the other and the other's problem. And this will impair any deepening into the awakening process because each gets stagnated in this. Also, the relationship will fall as a result of, for instance, one needing a mother figure and the other needing to be a mother figure. I understand this is part of the transmission process of once you know you are not the body, then you need to reclaim it differently. So go deeper and ever deeper into the awakening process. I know I have made a statement rather than a question, but would like to understand the Magdi viewpoint on all this. Thanks. Okay, Lawrence. So let me scroll up a little bit here. Okay, Lawrence. So overall, yes, you know what you are saying makes perfect sense. In relationships, when we're in relationship, our true relationship is with the self. Our true relationship is with our wholeness. But as long as we're still experiencing ourselves as a person, we are experiencing the other as another person. What do we mean when we say I experience myself as a person? By that, we usually mean that we have our own beliefs, our own ideas, our own views, our own ideas about the world, and we believe that we are this body mind, and that our happiness is the result of our personal actions, our personal decisions, and the choices that we make or don't make. And the consequences of our choices, whether our choices lead us to the goodies or further away from the loot. So as a person, we are experiencing a sense of incompleteness, a sense of lack and unhappiness, and we're trying to fulfill it. We're trying to fill the emptiness. We're trying to get the correct experiences that will make us happy. We're trying to get the right partners, the right work situations, the correct living conditions that will make us happy, that we believe will make us happy. And all of that is doomed to fail. So when we are in a relationship with the belief that we are a person, of course, we perceive the others as also persons with their own agendas. And because we believe that our happiness depends on certain actions, we stand behind our beliefs, we fight for our beliefs, we push for our beliefs, we argue for our beliefs, because we believe that this is really important, this is the path, this is what will make us happy. We need to get this job, we need to live in this place, we need to have this sort of situation. And all of that, this way of living is doomed to fail, meaning it does not bring us the happiness that we truly aspire for. And when you start to contemplate the truth you're asking, what am I really? What is this? What is this experience? What is it? What is its reality? You're starting to pose some serious questions about consciousness, about reality, about truth. And in time, these questions, if they're coming from a deep desire to know, will take root in you and will start to flourish, will start to bloom in you, and will start to guide you towards the happiness, towards the truth, towards the happiness that is causeless, that does not depend on the mind, does not depend on the world, does not depend on the body. When you are in relationship, your primary relationship is relationship with truth. That is your primary relationship. And your relationship with the other, with the so-called other, with your partner, is also a relationship with truth. This is what is our true relationship. But we don't understand that. We are unaware of that. And because we are unaware of that, we are in the mind, we are in our thoughts. Our thoughts are guiding us. We follow our thought. And the primary thought that we follow is that I am a person, and he or she is another person. So, in relationship, when you are a truth lover, it's very beautiful to invite the other to the table. And the way you invite the other to the table is by living according to the truth. You listen deeply within yourself, and you detect within yourself when you are moving away from the truth. And when you are moving away from the truth, you know it because you feel the unhappiness. We all know that. But what we do is that we blame the unhappiness on the other, or on my mother or grandmother or my partner or my boss. In fact, the unhappiness is not because of your partner or because of where you live or because of your job or because of whether somebody else got the promotion or not. Your unhappiness is because you take yourself to be a person. While you are the wholeness of being. So, yes, we do get stagnated in our beliefs, in our conditioning. And relationships indeed do not flourish when we are in our psychology. You know, when I need a mother figure and the other one needs to be a mother figure. All these are me images. All these are the result of mistaking yourself to be a person. Because psychology applies to a person, to an imagined character. The self is beyond psychology. You know, the fact that you know that you are not the body does not mean, just making a little comment here, that you do not still live the dream according to the what appears in the dream. If somebody knocks on your door, you don't say, oh, I'm not a body, so I'm not going to get up and open the door. Because if I'm not a body, what is going to get up and open the door? Let me see, what will open the door if I'm not a body? You don't need to be a body to open the door. Because what opens the door may be the body, but you are not the body, so the body can open the door without you being the body. Right now, I speak, you hear. In other words, there is a body organism that is speaking and hearing, but I am not the organism that is hearing or speaking. The point I want to make is that we don't need to get stuck in the idea that I'm not the body, okay? Not that you're saying that. Okay, well, I think that's all I have to say about your question, Lawrence. Okay, no problem. It's good to be with you anyways. Screen or no screen. Hello, Isaac. Isaac, you write empty perceptions make experiences lack of interest, excluding beauty. What do you mean by empty perceptions?
Let's say without a story.
Okay. A perception without a story will make experiences lack of interest, excluding beauty. Well, right now, Isaac,
Yeah.
I perceive you without a story. I perceive this perception without a story. And how is this lacking love and beauty? When you perceive a flower or you perceive the sky without a story, just perceiving, breathing, being. There's no story, let's say there's no story. How can we say there is no love and beauty? When you breathe, when you're sitting quietly, just sipping a cup of tea, just a moment of stillness, a moment of quiet, a moment of not thinking about this or that, just being, just enjoying the tea. How can one say there is no love and beauty? Love and beauty is not the noise of the mind, Isaac. Love and beauty is not some activity of the mind or activity of the body. Love and beauty is like it's complete freedom from everything. Not that activities take away from love and beauty. There could be all sorts of activities that we do. We may invite friends over or have a chat, or just be here together in satsang, which is, you could say that's an activity. And there is love and beauty. And just the love and beauty that we are talking about is not love and beauty that is brought upon by any activity. It is the love and beauty that we are, that the self is, the love and beauty of truth, of reality. The reality, meaning beingness, is love and beauty. So like consciousness, awareness, right now, the reality that perceives, that hears these words, that is a transparency to that. There is a witnessing quality, an effortless witnessing. Yes, effortless, without any effort. There is perceiving these words, perceiving this perception. It's an effortless witnessing. And when that looks at the world, it perceives beauty. And when it looks at the feelings, at the sensations, it experiences love, it perceives love. And when it looks at the mind, at thought, it perceives wisdom and intelligence. And when it looks at the body, it perceives a vastness, a transparent openness. The beauty and the love that are the result of a mind activity are not the real beauty and love. The beauty and love is inspired by the self, by consciousness, by beingness. When we turn our attention to presence, when we turn our attention to just beingness, without making a distinction, Isaac, Magdi, without distinctions, just beingness, it's love. Because in that moment we are one. There's one embrace, one breath, one consciousness. And that's beautiful. It's very lovely. It's very beautiful. So when the mind is not, when I say the mind, I'm meaning this belief, the me belief that I'm this person. When that is not running the show, we're experiencing peace. But when the me feeling, me, my life, my tomorrow, yesterday, what's going to happen to me, when that arises and then we're buying into it, we're really unhappy. It's a real mess, We experience all the negative emotions, depressions, loneliness, desiring, lack of love, self-pity, self-judgment, judging others, regret, all of those negative feelings, negative emotions. This all relates to when I am a me and you are somebody else. But when a perception is just pure perception, pure presence, it's awareness. And awareness is the reality that right now perceives this perception, that hears these words, and there are no separation in that perceives. There is no separation. There isn't a Magdi or an Isaac. It's just the wholeness of being. And the wholeness of being is love and beauty. Yes? So you open your heart to that. You are that. You are that. You are the love and beauty of the self. You are the wholeness of being. You are that already. You are that. And that's a celebration. That's a true celebration, Isaac. That's really what everybody's heart deeply, deeply yearns for. That wholeness of being, that I am. Beautiful. Nice to see you, Isaac. Mm.
Thank you.
Mm. Any questions? Ananda, you're right. There is a container theory of consciousness which gives way to a wholeness awareness. I think there is a world of problems out there and it is within me, thus not bothering me. There is a container theory of consciousness which gives way to... Okay, maybe you can clarify a little bit since...
Well, oops.
Wholeness awareness, yeah. It's one of...
It seems
Okay.
like in Vedanta, there's the self. And then
Oh,
I guess I wasn't very
so,
clear.
So consciousness contains everything. Everything is consciousness, including the problems of the world and so on. But it doesn't bother me. Oh, yes. No. No. Definitely not. Okay. Okay. Yes. There is this theory out there, but this is not what we are talking about.
It's a halfway house.
We are talking about a happiness that does not come and go. Okay, we're not talking about the Sahaja Samadhi. Okay, it's not it's not like, okay, I am the self eternal, and also I experience the world problems. There are the world problems and so on. They occur. You know, I feel jealous. I feel angry. I feel this. I feel that. I feel irritated and so on. But it doesn't bother me. No. How can you feel anger and say it doesn't bother you? I mean, anger is you. It's that me. You know, the when we refer to the emotions, we're referring to the me, to the me. So if you are still experiencing emotions, there is still the me dimension, the me impression in the space that still is not fully dissolves out of the space. It's still in the space. Now, on some occasion, you will see a sage, you know, sort of flare up, you know, like phosphorus or like gunpowder. You light it, goes, you know, like that.
Right.
There are no remnants. There are no remnants. There is no story. There is no time to it. It's just does that. It's very different from experiencing the emotions, experiencing the problems, the world problems out there. There are no world problems out there. What are the world problems out there?
Well, even something came to my mind that compassion means
Outside of your own thoughts. What problems are there out there? If you look at what are you looking at, if not your own thought? The thought that's arising right here. So the thought of world problems and seeing some problems in the world always refers to me and somebody else. Me and that, you see. And I am better and they're worse. I am Democrat and they're Republican. I am, American and they're Russians or whatever. This is how you're experiencing world problems. There is an identification, you see. And in the absence of the identification, what would you be talking about? There would not be such a thing as world problems, you see. So you are still interested in world problems because there is still some sort of personal story. See? Now, having said that, there may be some situations that arises in your space where you find yourself contributing or participating in some world activity that is bettering the environment or bettering. Like, for example, I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat meat because of hurting and killing other animals. I'm careful to eat and serve organic produce that do not put toxics into the world. And I'm also watchful to purchase from certain shops that have that same, sort of. It's just so happen that this body-mind character, let's say, has this history of being aware of these qualities, and so that's what's happening, But from here to taking on a philosophical stand against what the world is doing, what is happening in the world, it's very simple. In the world, we are pursuing our own personal interest. What's the difference between me pursuing my own personal interest and a corporation pursuing its own interest, personal interest? It's the same thing. They are, I abuse whoever. I try to get the most I can for myself. I'm afraid and I'm jealous and envious and angry and so on. Big corporations do that with the same thing, with nations. The nations do that to each other. What's the difference? It's the same thing. It's the same, and it will continue. It will continue whether. Huh?
The sociologists always say that the corporations, when studied, are sociopaths.
I mean, yes. If you look at the individual is a sociopath.
Oh yeah,
if you study the individual, it's quite a sociopath.
Right.
Yes. But of course, it's a controlled. It's dress. There is a dressing. Okay, there is the dressing, but behind the scene, there is a lot of. Okay, of course, there are lots of people who are, who are taking a close look and trying to live according to higher principles, which is really beautiful. But being identified as a person, when you are fully identified as a person, it's pretty miserable.
Right.
This is pretty miserable. But coming back to your question,
Yes.
the revelation of consciousness is a revelation of happiness, of peace and happiness, causeless peace and happiness. And it's not a container of all sorts of, it includes everything, it includes misery, it includes jealousy, it includes anger. These are just thoughts. These are just thoughts. We're talking about the revelation of the self. We're not talking about some philosophical statement, some dissertation about consciousness. We're talking about the revelation of consciousness, not about the greatest theory about consciousness. If you are experiencing unhappiness, if you're experiencing agony in the world, misery in the world, how could you say that's happiness?
Well, even I don't mean to be theoretical, but seeing the dream that you talk about, then it's not it's not some actual thing in a container that's not bothering me so much. It's more like so-called world. Everything is my entertainment. My dream. That's a lot less of a problematic view.
Right, but the dream, as you get to move more and more away from ignorance, the dream is a sweet dream. You see, if you're moving away from ignorance and your dream still is including unhappiness in the world and whatever, then you're still on the path, which is okay. But there is an end to the misery. I know that there are some people who don't like that, say, oh, an end. There is an end to the misery, but this does not mean there is an end to the revelation and the celebration of consciousness. There is an end to the misery. And the end of the misery requires the dissolution of the me impression out of the body-mind. And that is possible upon the correct contemplation and grace. Sahaja Samadhi is not a myth. It's the reality of the self.
So this is something that is coming in my mind, that compassion, it means sharing. In a sense, it means suffering with the other person. I mean, there's a higher meaning maybe, but I'm thinking the higher meaning of compassion would be love, just love.
Yes.
And not a sense of I suffer with you because
absolutely
I see it.
Compassion is shared passion.
Right.
Shared passion for truth. Because we have a shared passion for happiness, for freedom, for joy, for beauty, for love. Yes? We all love love. We all love happiness. We all love beauty. We all love joy. We all love humor. We all love. We all love. So meaning communal, together. Compassion, it's a shared passion for truth, for love, for beauty. It's not I'm feeling what you're feeling, or I feel for you, and please feel for me, and let's all feel together for the whales, and let's feel for the elephants. No, it's not. That's not compassion. Compassion is passion for truth.
I like that. I like the way to see it.
We all love happiness. We are all compassionate. I mean, we all have this one passion. But we're going around it wrong, about it. We're going about it the wrong way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're going about it the wrong way because instead of contemplating the reality of the self, we're contemplating how many cars and houses and dollars and trips and experiences I can have. You see,
The gross, the gross national product, is not the indices of happiness.
Is consumerism, takes advantage of our going about it the wrong direction.
Right.
The whole
right.
consumerism, the whole marketing, and the whole slave labor, is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
The slave labor, that whole thing, the exploitation of the earth and of the resources is an abuse of our mistaken direction. We're looking for happiness in the wrong direction,
Right.
and so there's an abuse of that.
Right.
So this is what's behind it. What's behind it is we are looking in the wrong direction.
Right. It's the blind leading the blind, and the blind abusing the weaker
Yes.
blind.
Yes. The thing is, at the root cause of our mistaken direction is where we need to look, at the root, which is our belief.
Mm.
The primary belief is that I am born, that I am a body-mind person. There is no substantial evidence for that. There is no evidence for that. It's just a belief, because nobody has ever produced any evidence that they are born. Nobody. Because they mistake the body to be themselves. They say, oh yes, I have evidence. Here are the pictures of, but on what basis do you take yourself to be the body-mind impressions that arise to you? On what basis do you take yourself to be the thoughts or the sensations that arise to you? When you look at an oak tree, do you say, I am the oak tree? No. You know yourself to be other than what is appearing. Because you know yourself to be other than what is appearing, you are not mistaking yourself to be an oak tree. And yet the body-mind appears to you as sensations and perceptions, and you take yourself to be the body-mind. That's a contradiction.
I know. I just watched a Francis Lucille talk, satsang recently, and he said something like, if you're going to take that evidence to mean that that's you, then you have to take everything that you perceive.
Yes. Okay. That's
and say that's
me. Yes. If you take,
if you want to be consistent.
Okay, yes, you have to be consistent. Absolutely. If you say, okay, well, wait a minute, I am what I perceive. Okay. Then you are everything. Then you are everything. You're the sky, you're the birds, you're the chimpanzee, you're everything. And so that, if on that ground, okay, I am everything, because consciousness is everything. This is why in the teachings they say that consciousness is nothing and is everything. Is nothing meaning it is not a thing, and yet everything that appears, its substance is consciousness. But going back to your question, just this unhappiness in the world, and it's drawing you. There's still some polishing to be done. There's still some work to be done.
You know, I noticed myself making a comment. Somebody was talking about Mr. Trump, and I said, I don't watch it because it's like watching a sick rat in a dirty cage just thrashing around. I see so much suffering that I'm not attracted to watch it. And that,
yeah. You know, we say these things, but in fact, we don't like to watch the misery within ourselves.
Say more about that. I'm not sure.
Well, when we see misery out there with Mr. Trump or XYZ and so on, it's the misery within ourselves that we don't like to see, and we put it out.
Oh.
We put it out on somebody else, on something else. The misery that we experience, we're all intimately familiar with it, and because we are in the misery avoidance business. We are constantly sweeping the misery under the rug in our life, and it's beautiful when we start to stop doing that. We say, wait a minute, there's misery in my life. What is this misery about? I'd like to look at it. I'd like to find out what's going on here.
Oh, yeah.
I can spend my whole life.
Face it straight on, and
I'd like to understand it. I'd like for it to reveal itself. I mean, I'm not going to just keep on. What is it? What is this misery? So I start to ponder. But when I'm saying, oh, Mr. Trump or Mrs. Trump or and so on and so forth, what kind of pondering is that? There is not any pondering.
No, there's no pondering. No.
I ponder and I ask myself, what is this misery? Why is there misery? So I ask, what is this misery? Why is there misery? And the mind says, oh, you're misery because you need more money. You're misery because you need a better present. Misery because you need to live in America. Misery. But that's not true. If you think about it, you realize that's not true. I've done that before. Misery is deeper than that. So you ponder, you contemplate. And at some point you realize, wait a minute. Misery is this constant thinking about, I need this, I'm missing that, I need that, he should do this, she should do that, this should be like this should be like that. What is holding on to all these beliefs? What is believing all this stuff? What is it that's buying into all this stuff?
Right. It's really personal because it may be like, I think they should double Social Security, not cut it. Right. No, I'm sorry.
I'm with you on that because I am in the Social Security age. Anyways, just want to mention.
You were on a roll there. I hate to do that.
No, I'm just babbling. That just to mention for some of you already know, some do not know, that there is a retreat in Costa Rica in March 2nd to the 5th. So if you are interested in the retreat, or if you know people who are interested in attending the retreat, I think the cost is $450, which includes food and lodging, and but it does not include the traveling, the flight to Costa Rica. You can send me a message. I will also be posting that on my meetup page. Well, I think we already posted it on the meetup page, but we'll be refreshing it. Okay, so thank you for this opportunity to babble and to be together. It's very beautiful, and we'll see you again soon. Okay, beautiful. Okay. Oh, hello. Yes, long time, Teresa. Yes, yeah, good to see you, Teresa.
You too.
Okay. Nice. Okay, hope everything is well with you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Too.
Welcome to Costa Rica.
Okay, yes. Okay, Isaac. You're looking forward to seeing you soon. Yes. Lovely Costa Rica, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. We are very happy.
Okay, beautiful. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone.
Lovely. See you soon. Okay. See you soon, everyone. Okay, you are beautiful.